2007, Steve Jobs introduced to the world a small glass rectangle. A phone, yes, but also a camera, a map, a notebook, an assistant, and many other functions. The smartphone transformed our lives. And today, with artificial intelligence, we're facing another leap for humanity. One that will transform education, because learning with AI isn't science fiction, it's the present. Good morning, my name is Carlos Vicente, and I'm the introductor of my team, which is formed by Miguel Señoras, first refuter, Julia Salvatierra, a second refuter, and Mariana Mas, who will be concluding this debate. In 2022, OpenAI launched ChatGPT. Since then, AI tools such as Gemini, Copilot, and ChatGPT have surged in popularity, especially among young students, transforming education. This leads us to the first question for today's debate. Does artificial intelligence make us more efficient when it comes to learning? To kick off, I'd like to analyze today's debate question by explaining some of the key concepts. First of all, artificial intelligence. The Spanish Ministry of Education tells us that AI can be defined as computer systems that can perform tasks that usually require human intelligence, such as reasoning and decision-making. In addition, I'd like to explain the word efficient. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, it means working or operating effectively and quickly in an organized way. Together, my team and I are going to defend our posture in favor of today's question with the following thesis. AI isn't just a tool, it's the next step in learning evolution, and rejecting it would be staying behind in a world that advances with it. Having covered all of that, I'd like to present our line of reasoning. First of all, we find our organizational argument. These tools, here we'll talk about how these tools help organize content, schedules, and learning paths efficiently, saving time and maximizing productivity for both the teachers and the students. Moreover, we have our emotional support argument, where it will be explained how by helping us organize ourselves, as said before, and by offering us psychological support, they can help to reduce the stress of the students, therefore making them perform better. Last but not least, our adaptive learning argument, where we'll explain how AI permits us, each student have a personalized individual learning path, adapting to his personal needs. Quoting Google CEO Sundar Pichai, AI will have a transformative effect on education, making it more personalized and scalable. And just like that glass rectangle changed how we live, so will AI in education. As Stephen Hawking once said, AI will undoubtedly become our greatest tool for progress. Let's embrace this leap. Thank you very much.
Artificial intelligence is often seen as a breakthrough, a powerful tool that can personalize learning, save time, and give students access to more information than ever before. Sounds perfect, right? Who wouldn't want a tutor that's available 24/7, that saves time? Well, but as I stand here, I can't help but ask you, at what cost? Because while we are becoming more efficient, we may be losing something human, something really essential. Our curiosity, our critical thinking, our ability to struggle through the problem and learn from the process. Good morning, dear judges, our team, audience. I'm Natalia Jimenez, the instructor from the team coming from IES Maria Zambrano from Del Mar. And talking of the question, we are utterly against the idea that artificial intelligence makes us more efficient when it comes to learning. Along with me, may we find more refuters, Cristina Garcia and Moana Butterworth, and Alan Professor Laura Creo. And do a remark on our thesis. Artificial intelligence evolving equals human intelligence devolving. Supporting a point of view, may we present our two main arguments. 1. Over-reliance on technology. AI as a form of inequality. And 2. Misguiding and misinformation. The unreliability of AI. Now, I've got to admit, the speech I gave at the beginning was sounding really nice, but truly, everything I said was not written by me, but generated by artificial intelligence. We all agree that artificial intelligence is really essential and it's helping us a lot. Nonetheless, if we rely on it too much, we will end up just like it, with no feelings or personal thoughts. Let me give you an obvious example. Just last week, I was asked to write an English essay, in order to practice for an upcoming exam. Silly me, I immediately turned to ChatGPT with the aim of making a fast and effortless solution. And the result, I did got a 10, along with the congratulations of my teacher. Nevertheless, then came the moment of truth, the real exam. No AI involved, just me and a blank page. At first, I thought, how hard could it be? Ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. I got a 0. This experience did taught me something AI never could. Real learning does not happen when you get the right answer, but when you struggle to find it. So yes, today we are not debating a tool, we are debating our futures, careers, and personal aims. Because if AI takes control of us, what would really be the point of our current way of learning and studying? Thanks for all.
Humanity's greatest breakthroughs were never born from comfort, but from courage. We carved stories into stone and sent thoughts through wires. And with every step and leap, we reshaped our knowledge and ourselves. Today, artificial intelligence is not a threat, but the next step in leading evolution and education. So, clinging into the past is not quiet preservation, but surrender. Good morning, my name is Ángel de Saavedra, and as the first officer of the team that argues that artificial intelligence is not merely a tool, but the next step in evolution and education, I'm here to refute and reinforce our posture. However, first, I'd like to comment on some of the proposals made by the opposing team. In a wonderful example they give about how she practiced and released an essay through artificial intelligence, and prove how then, in the exam, she didn't get the results that she was expecting. We can observe how, in this specific case, the problem is not the artificial intelligence itself, but the use the person gave to it, as the main focus of it was achieving the result without thinking about it. And what she obtained was an essay that wasn't written by her, and she didn't actually understand what it was saying. And of course, artificial intelligence has lots of flaws and things that can be improved. We can all see that, but doesn't everything has things to improve? For example, fire, one of the most primitive invents and things human have ever used. We use it for cooking and for warming, can have completely grateful benefits. But if we use it with a bad purpose, it can offer us destruction and the end of civilization itself. Now, I'd like to move into our argumental line. Our first argument is about how artificial intelligence enhances organizational efficiency. For example, tools like Hero Learning, developed by AI expert Andrew Ng, helps teachers to planify lessons, grade students, and analyze performance. These tasks save teachers lots of time and energy, resources that can be actually redirected into fostering curiosity and deeper learning. In this way, artificial intelligence is not a replacement or a substitution for teachers and educators, but a complement that empowers them and gives them the strength to perform in a more efficient way. Equally important, AI transforms the way students interact with information. In a world filled with misinformation, discernment matters more than access. For example, in this fault advisory, we can observe how AI tools can help students to discern what is real from false, to identify bias, and overall to develop a way more critical thinking. In this way, artificial intelligence again helps students to become a better version of themselves. Now, I'd like to move on into our second argument, where we will focus on the growing role of artificial intelligence in students' emotional support. According to this scientific research published in the famous scientific magazine Science Direct, we can observe how artificial intelligence can detect early signs of emotional distress through language and behavior analysis. These, accompanied by professional help or human care, can prevent problems before disaster happening. Finally, I'd like to introduce our third argument that will be further developed by my partner Juliana Saavedra, where we talk about how artificial intelligence adapts to each learner especially. And finally, as a side reminder, I want to say that artificial intelligence, of course, has a lot of things to improve and inconvenience. But in a world moving so fast, we need to adapt to them and go forward with it to achieve actual benefits. Thank you so much.
And I would like to start by repeating of this system. Artificial intelligence evolving equals human intelligence devolving. The opposing team argues that AI enhances learning and makes it faster, productive. However, faster does not mean better, and productivity does not guarantee equity or understanding. What we're really seeing is a shift towards shallow learning, increased dependence, and growing inequality.
Does using AI to assist thinking really means students stop thinking, or that they can think even deeper?
I'm going to develop that in my argument, which is over-reliance on technology. When students constantly depend on AI, they stop thinking for themselves. They abandon critical thinking. Actually, a study made by Marco Berry from the SBS Swiss Business School has found that this causes cognitive offloading, which means that they stop thinking for themselves and let AI do the work. This weakens their critical thinking, problem solving, and decision-making skills. How is this effective? How is this productive? They expect answers without effort, and this problem affects teachers too, as it complicates the workload instead of reducing it. They now have to spend part of the time writing complicated prompts, adapting lessons, and worrying about the use students give to AI at home. Assigning work and homework, it's becoming difficult. It's not, and it's a lack of trust. Consequently, students grow impatient and disengaged as they are used to instant AI responses. However, fast answers do not build lasting understanding. Immediacy is not the same as efficiency. Yes?
If calculators didn't kill math skills and books didn't kill memory, why assume AI will kill thinking?
Can you repeat that, please? Sorry.
If calculators didn't kill math skills and books didn't kill memory, why assume AI will kill thinking?
Because the information we get now with AI, it's not education you have to reach for in books, and you can't make it clear with calculus, because calculus actually helps your problem solving skills. AI does not, as I proved earlier. I'm going to move on to my second point: biases, errors, and inequality. AI tools are trained on biased data, which they can reflect, leading to misinformation. Actually, I have a study here which they proved an AI-generated work to prove whether the work written by native English speakers and non-native English speakers had a difference when it was rejected. And they found that at least one detector flagged 97.8% of the non-native speakers' essays. How is this productive, and how is this equitable? How is this secure? How is this efficient? And I would like to end with this idea. We see AI as progress. However, it has only proven to foster dependency, distraction, and division. We must protect human intelligence, not replace it. We are not talking about fire, but the power of distracting human intelligence. Moving on, my refugee Moana will talk about misinformation and people-pleasing tendencies found in AI, with evidence from the Waterloo University and the Maryland University. That is all. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you for your positive attention.
Oral victory, reading or writing, and kinesthetic. V-A-R-K. You arrive on the first day of class and those 5 words are written on the blackboard. Good morning, respected rival team and judge of this debate. My name is Julia Salvatierra, and I am the second refuter of my team, in which we are in favor of the question, does artificial intelligence make us more efficient when it comes to learning? As we think artificial intelligence isn't just a tool, it's the next step in learning evolution, and rejecting it is staying behind in a world that advances with it. First, I would like to review some of the opposite team's arguments. First, you said that by using AI, we lose our humanity. I say that we don't use our humanity when we use AI. AI shouldn't replace teachers, but complement them. You also told a story about how you used AI for an essay and then got a 0 on your exam. That's because you used AI wrong. You should never use such a powerful tool for something like that. AI shouldn't be used to support AI should be used to support studying, not to replace it. We admit that, of course, AI has flaws. We agree with that. But it does make it more efficient, and there's still time to correct those flaws. Yes, please.
Do you think that even though people know the proper use they should be giving to AI, they aren't actually using it in that way?
Not all people know the proper use they should be giving to AI, because younger people do not have to know the use they are giving to AI because they're younger. So, thank you. I would also like to say how you said that learning faster doesn't mean learning better. And we didn't only defend that it makes learning faster, but also better, as I'm going to explain later on my adaptive learning argument. You also talked about how it destroys critical thinking, but the issue isn't AI. It's using it blindly. Teaching students how to question and evaluate AI output builds sharper minds, not weaker ones. And you also said that we should protect our schools and our education and not replace it. We're not talking about replacing teachers with AI. We're talking about complementing them to make learning more efficient. Next, I'll expose our third argument, our adaptive learning argument. Let us go back to the first thing I said. Visual, oral or auditory, reading or writing, and kinesthetic. They form one of the most well-known models of learning styles, started by Neil Fleming. He suggests that students learn better when the instructions match their preferred style. But we all agree that it's impossible for one single teacher to explain the same theory differently for each student, especially when they have 30 to more students, especially in university. AI uses data analysis and machine learning to understand students, find patterns, and provide customized lessons and activities based on their skill level, learning style, and progress. Moreover, AI promotes active ways of learning. Apps like Quizlet and Khan Academy AI Tutor use artificial intelligence to make quizzes, flashcards, mind maps, and even schedule spaced repetition based on your answers. Harvard University, as you can see here, highlights the role of AI in personalized education, enabling students to learn more efficiently through tailored content, instant feedback, and adaptive resources. Additionally, AI-driven tutoring and intelligent recommendations enhance accessibility, preparing students for a tech-driven future. In conclusion, incorporating AI into education allows students to learn in ways that suit their individual needs. Heraclitus said, "The only constant in life is change." This directly links with our thesis. Artificial intelligence isn't just a tool, it's an step in learning evolution, and rejecting it is staying behind in a world that advances with it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, jurors, judges, audience, and opposing team. I am Moana Batua, the second refuter of our team that believes that AI is not a benefit when it comes to education. I would like to start by repeating our thesis. Artificial intelligence evolving equals human intelligence devolving. And I would like to first start by addressing some of the points that you have made throughout your debate. You have used the example of the calculator when you asked my teammate Christina a question. However, we would like to mention that this actually is not a great example, because a calculator doesn't misinform. A calculator doesn't have biases, but AI does. We would also like to mention that when you say that you see AI as a step forward for society, we see it as a step forward, but for technology, not for human intelligence. I would also like to mention another point that you have made in your debate, where you have talked about how AI can be used for offering emotional support to students. However, I pose the question, how can there be emotional support if there is no empathy? I have here two sources that show that, first of all, this one is by the Digital Data Design Institute at Harvard, that says that students feel more comfortable when they know they are talking to a human than when they are talking to a machine. As such, how can they feel emotional support from a machine if they really need that emotional link with the person? Continuing with your point, you have also said that AI can be useful for teachers, yes?
If early detection is key to mental health, why not technologies that can identify subtle warning signs before humans can?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, sorry. If early detection is key to mental health, why ignore technologies that can identify subtle warnings before humans can?
Well, in this specific case, we're actually talking about education. So you can say that AI is useful in mental health, however, that's not the debate that we're having right now. Continuing with my argument, you say that AI is useful for teachers. However, now teachers have to worry about the way they teach. They have to change the way they're teaching in class. Now they have to worry that students are using AI in text that they might send home. So they have to actively include these activities in their class, reducing the time they have, as such making it not efficient. Continue with my argument, I'd also like to mention another major problem that AI has. Yes?
So, wouldn't it be more productive to regulate AI than to reject it entirely out of fear?
Well, we're not saying that AI doesn't have any uses. That might be a future. However, we're talking about now. And right now, in this moment, AI is not regulated. AI is not beneficial in education. So it shouldn't be included until it is properly regulated. Continue with my argument. AI is ambiguous, misleading, and everywhere. Many students use AI to find information. However, the base for this is actually misinformation. It is not right. In fact, we have here universities that agree on this risk that AI brings to finding information. For example, the University of Maryland, that says that in fact, AI, as of 2023, a typical AI model isn't assessing whether the information it provides is correct. Its goal when it receives a prompt is to generate what it thinks is the most likely string of words to answer that prompt. There is also the University of Waterloo that mentions that the basis of AI is actually based on information that is outdated. This means that students that are depending on AI for sources for their projects or summaries about certain subjects could be getting wrongful information, immediately proving how AI could go so far as to be something wrong in education, not a benefit. Speed and accessibility do not equal truthfulness. In fact, this last source I've mentioned, University of Maryland, brings me to my last point, is people-pleasing tendencies. As we've seen, AI just tells you what you want to hear. So in reality, you're not getting constructive feedback, and you might get surprised when you get your scores back for a test that you turn in, for an essay that you turn in, sorry. As such, we see that AI is not a benefit. It is not helping students in their studies. It misinforms and misleads. Do we really see these things as benefit? Is giving you wrongful information or just telling you what you want to hear really something that we want? Thank you very much.
CEO of Google said, "The future of education is personalization, and AI is the key technology that makes it possible. If AI enhances this, why not use it to unlock our full potential?" Good morning, I am Maria Navas, responsible for delivering the conclusion in favor of the question, does artificial intelligence make us more efficient when it comes to learning? Before presenting my speech, I would like to express my gratitude to the honorable jury, the audience, the respected team, and the staff members for making this debate possible. While they invite us to reflect on the profound impact of AI on education. First, I would like to highlight the main points of contention that have emerged throughout the debate. We understand that AI has a lot of commitments, but we think, just as we adapted to great invention and discoveries like fire, we ought to adapt to AI too. You also said that we lose humanity with AI, but let's remember that we are not suggesting replacement. We are talking about complement for both students and professors. You defend that AI destroys critical thinking, and although it is sometimes, we all can approve sometimes, nowadays, it is the problem, it is the person's fault that don't know how to use it efficiently. And we understand your posture this whole time, but let's emphasize
that AI is powerful because of its correct use. We have defended our thesis. Artificial intelligence isn't just a tool. It is the next step in evolution. And rejecting it means staying behind in a world that advances with it. We justify this through our main three arguments: organizational efficiency, emotional support, and adaptive learning. Our first argument, organizational efficiency, explains how AI streamlines education by automating tasks, enhancing critical thinking, and enabling early support. In our second argument, emotional support, we explain that AI detects distress, offers contact help, and encourages emotional self-care. Finally, our third argument, adaptive learning, shows how AI personalized learning to fit each student, fostering individual growth and progress. We have shown that artificial intelligence isn't just a tool. It is the next step in learning evolution, and rejecting it means staying behind in a world that advances with it. AI is the engine driving the future. How do we define how we think? It is not a threat, but a tool to wield wisely and boldly, just as the smartphone did redefine communication. For in learning with AI, we are not abandoning our humanity. We are expanding. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, after considering the role of artificial intelligence in learning, we must conclude something. AI does not make us more efficient learners. In fact, it risks diminishing our capacity. It diminishing also our essential humanity. Okay? This is seen in our thesis that we repeat along the debate. Artificial intelligence evolving equals the human intelligence evolving. Along the debate, we defend it with two key arguments. The first one, over-reliance on technology and AI as a form of inequality, and in second place, misinformation and people pleaser, the unreliability of AI. As my teammate Christina said, to use AI in education can weaken critical thinking. It also increases inequality and deepen dependency. Having also to mention that it supports for teachers and also for us, the students, lots of new challenges. It supports that argument with, for example, a study by Michael Garlich from the Swedish Boston School. In second place, my teammate Moana explained how AI in education carries serious risks because it can spread false information and also often tells us what we want to hear more than the truth that is what we are looking for in the reality. Well, and in the debate, we found so many points of conflict. First, they asked about whether AI could support artificial critical thinking. To that, we answer with our argument and evidences about the over-reliance. And also, you ask if calculus and books could also be bad like AI. Well, for that, however, we argue that these tools cannot replace human intelligence that does AI. It's true that there will also some similar points, like for example, that AI will be used in some ways, but from our perspective, we see that in actuality, the control of AI is not a good one, also for students. But what? Esteemed judge, opposing team, and also audience, we urge you to see AI not as a cure-all, but as a tool that must be used with caution, ensuring its support rather than replacing the human essential elements of learning. Our future depends on nurturing human intelligence, not diminishing it. We open yet that Pandora's box, but I hope we get to develop to learn how to use it. That's all. Have a nice day.